joined today by Christian Balcells. So hi, Christian.
Hello, how are you? ¿Cómo estás?
I'm very good. I'm very good. Thank you. So before we start, I'm just going to tell you a bit about coming to Spain. So this is a blog that I started about 6 years ago when I moved to Spain. So like many of people joining us today, I'm sure have had the same predicament. So before going to Spain, not being sure where to start, looking for information. So that's why I decided to create my platform and talk about a bit more about the journey to move to Spain. So in my case, it was from the UK to Spain.
Very good. So this probably helps a lot the people to land in the country.
Hopefully. And now actually it's become a platform where I talk to experts such as yourself about different topics. And the main goal is to make sure that anyone who, just like me, want to move to Spain is equipped with all the information that they need to make the right decision. And having said that, a big topic that keeps popping up, and that's why I knew that I needed to get the best expert to talk about it, is visa. Visa is a big question.
Very good. Yes,
and
that's right.
I'm sure you hear a lot about it. And one big concern, and especially one visa that comes to mind when it comes to moving to Spain, is the non-lucrative visa.
Of course, it's one of the main visas to land in Spain.
Exactly. And this is what we're going to talk about. And this is why I want to pick your brain. I want to use this next 30 minutes also to get all the information I can. And for you guys listening to the session, you can ask questions and then we will take them at the end of the session. But I will start by asking a couple of questions. But before we start, I wanted to ask you for a quick introduction, Christian, of yourself and about your firm also.
Very good. Thank you very much, Leticia. Very nice to have you here in the studios of Balcells Group. I saw your platform and it's amazing. And it has a very good thing that you explain the things because you suffered or you lived it before. Lo has vivido in Spanish. So it makes the approach more close to those who wants to move to Spain. My name is Christian Balcells. I'm the CEO and the founder of Balcells Group. It's a law firm that we mainly do immigration, taxes, and business and legal. So we try to cover all the areas of the law that a person would need. We have local people as a client, and we have also international people. And of course, nowadays, Barcelona, one of the top cities with 500,000 foreigners, pues immigration is becoming a very strong area on the office. And lately, I love the nature, I love sports, and I love the life. And I love meeting people. So very happy to be here with you today.
Thank you so much. And actually, Barcelona, for anyone looking, I'm not surprised people want to move here because, life is amazing here. Nature, you've got it all. So hopefully, by the end of this session, everyone feel even more encouraged and to make their move. But let's just, like I said, let's go back to the basis before, just to make sure that we're all on the same page. And I'm going to give you a bit of a few scenarios for you to kind of help us understand a bit more about the non-lucrative visa. So usually, let's put it that way. Imagine if I'm someone who's looking to retire to Spain and I come from a non-EU country, or maybe I'm a student who's looking to move to Spain on the gap year. Is the non-lucrative visa right for me? Is it the right option? And if you had to explain me in simple terms what the non-lucrative visa is, how would you explain it to me?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, the non-lucrative visa is a visa that allows persons who wants to retire or to have a sabbatical year or to come with their family for a year to enjoy the kids to live in Spain but not to work. So it's a permit that allows them to reside in the country but not to work in the country. This would be the concept, what it is.
Right. Okay.
And another thing, just on the line of what is the non-lucrative visa, it comes from a law of 2001, and the first years it was more oriented to people who's going to retire or who wants to retire, old people that they come to Spain. But in the last 10 to 12 years, we saw that also young people with good savings or people who wants to take a sabbatical to disconnect or to bring the kids and enjoy 2-3 years in Spain, they come here as well with a non-lucrative visa because they have enough savings or enough dividends on their own companies, whatever, to live in Spain without work.
Okay, great. And as we mentioned, so this is for non-EU citizen.
Exactly. This is from the law of 2001, oriented to non-European citizens. So because European citizens, according to the agreements that we have, all the European countries, on terms of mobility, they don't need to have this kind of residency permit because they have a very smooth process on getting a unique permit that it's valid for all the European citizens.
Okay, great. And actually a question that keeps coming up when it comes to the non-lucrative visa, when looking at other options, people also ask about the golden visa. So what would you say between the non-lucrative visa and the golden visa for people in that situation, people who are looking to retire or people who are looking to go on a gap year? What's the main difference and what would be usually the correct or the route to take?
Yeah, this is a good point because it happens that people who wants to get the non-lucrative visa, they have enough savings or they want to do an investment in the country as well. So here, the main difference between the non-lucrative visa and the golden visa is that, let me tell you 3 or 4 differences. The non-lucrative visa, you need to apply at the Spanish consulate in the country where you reside, so you cannot apply from Spain. The permit is for 1 year. You need to show enough savings. It would be around 30,000 euros for the principal and 10,000 per each additional family member. So you need to show not big savings at all. And one of the big differences is that with the non-lucrative visa, you must be in the country in Spain at least 6 months and 1 day per year. So you need to be resident. On the other side, the golden visa is a residence permit that the first one is for 3 years. You need to do an investment on real estate over 500,000 without mortgages or finance. This permit allows you to live and to work, the golden visa. This is a big difference. And it does not require you to live in the country to keep the permit. So basically, we are talking about 1 year plus for 3 years. Reside in the country, no need to reside, no work permit, work permit. This would be, in general, the main difference. But here it's a matter of how much money you have and if you have intention to invest in the country. Because if not, the non-lucrative would be easiest than the golden visa.
Okay, great. And
some people, sorry to interrupt you, but as you are already 6 years in Spain, you know that the Spanish people will love to interrupt the conversation.
Go for it. Go for it.
So we found people that they come with a non-lucrative visa, and later, after a year, they say, I want to buy a property, and then we convert the permit into a golden visa.
Okay. And actually, I was going to just ask you, just to close the loop on the golden visa before we zoom in on the non-lucrative visa. It's been told that the golden visa might be ending soon. Is something that people should be aware of?
Yeah, well, our president, the president of Spain, Pedro Sánchez, a month ago announced that he has on their plans as a government to cancel the golden visa in order to eradicate the speculation, the increase of the prices on buying and on renting. And this was an idea of the president. This is going to be a long process because now there is a political party that sent a proposal to the government, then it needs to be approved at the parliament and then at the Senate. So we'll see what's going to happen, and if it happens something, it will be in perhaps 3 to 6 months.
Okay, so nothing to worry about for now.
Well, yeah, nothing to worry, but there is the direction to cancel it. So at some point they will cancel it.
Okay, great. So that's great. So now let's just zoom in on the non-lucrative visa, because this is what people want to hear more about today. And we're going to start by talking about some of the requirements. So again, let's put myself in the shoes of someone who wants to apply for the non-lucrative visa. What are some of the requirements that makes me eligible for that visa for me to be able to apply?
Yes, very good. Well, the non-lucrative visa, it has 4 steps. I'm going to explain it through this because I think it's going to be easier. The first step would be to book an appointment at the Spanish consulate of the location where you reside. Here is very important because there is some consulates that is easier to book an appointment than the others. There is countries that the consulate is more busy, or they have a policy to attend less people. So we will need to see where are you living in order to see how difficult it will be to get this appointment. This would be the first step. Second step would be on the day of the appointment, you need to bring a file per person. And this file is divided into 3 parts. The first part would be the official documents, such as the immigration form, the visa form, and immigration fee that you pay to the consulate would be around 20 to 30 euros. And basically would be this, the immigration form, visa form, and the immigration fee. The second part of the file would be the bureaucratic documents, such as the criminal records, marriage certificate, birth certificate of the kids. All these documents, they need to be legalized, apostille of the Hague, and translation into Spanish if they are not in Spanish. And the third part of the file would be the most important, the reason why you get the non-lucrative visa. You need to prove sufficient funds. How to prove it? It would depend on the consulate if they request to have savings for 12, 6, or 3 months. Normally, we advise to have at least 6 months. And the savings should be 30,000 for the principal and 10,000 for each additional family member.
Okay.
For example, a family of 4, they would need 50,000.
I was thinking you were going to answer that. You can tell my math is not what it used to be.
I was going. So it's not big money comparing to Golden Visa, 500,000, but of course you need to have these savings for at least 3 to 6 to 12 months, depending on the consulate. Another important document is that you need to have a medical certificate stating that you are in good health, that you don't have any illness or epidemic. Then another document would be the private health insurance that you need to have in Spain. It has to be local one. It's normally 50, 60 euros per person, and it's very easy to enroll it. And depending on the consulate, they could ask you the tax declarations, a sword translation that you are not going to work while you are in Spain. If you are working, a renounce on the company that you are working. So some consulates, they are more or less strict on proving that you are not really going to work while you are in Spain. Because what happened is that a lot of people that they came with the non-lucrative visa, they were working remotely from Spain and not paying the taxes.
Okay.
So now, besides that they approved the digital nomad visa, that this for those who wants to work remotely from Spain, they also want to filter and to be sure that these persons who comes here, they are not going to work. Because if it applies a person of 40 years old with a family, for the consulate is suspicious that he's not really a non-lucrative profile. It's a person who wants to take advantage of this. So normally they would ask the tax declaration of the last 2 years,
okay,
a company letter saying that you are not going to work, a notary declaration stating that you are not going to work, depending on the consulate.
And, to go back to the example I've given you earlier, if you're looking to retire, so would your the retirement that you're getting from your home country, would it be a sufficient proof fund?
Yes. Normally, our policy as a law firm to guarantee the success is that we ask to have these savings. But in parallel, if you are retired and you receive a pension, we can add it to the files to make it more strong.
Okay, yeah, because what people ask usually is like, can I use retirement, investment, rentals? For example, if you have a house that you are renting, could you use like the rental that you're getting as a proof? Okay, I'm usually getting a rental.
By law, this is a good point, Leticia. By law, they accept also other ways to prove the financial capacity, such as the incomes that you receive, for example, from a rental, such as the assets that you have, investments, pension plans. But for us, it's more easy if we show like the savings plus these documents, because we have more guarantees. Because, for example, if we are going to show the rental contracts, the consulate is going to ask the bank statements to see the income, because there is a lot of fraud also.
Okay.
So at the end, we need to see each profile, but also these ways of proving financial capacity are totally right.
Okay, sounds good. So it means that if someone were to work with you, your lawyers would be informing them on the best financial kind of some of the financial proof that they need to bring together. Because, of course, what we don't want is that to apply for the non-lucrative visa, giving specific financial evidence to then be rejected. So your team would be advising anyone on what they should be bringing forward.
Exactly. And we normally, our firm, we collect all the documents and then we prepare a motivation letter where we explain as well, because this person has this finance, he has these reasons to come to Spain, and we request to the consulate positively to accept their file, for example, something like this.
Okay. And usually what people want to know once you've collected all the information, now we're clear, we know who's eligible, but now the process. So let's say if I were to apply next week, or if I was to start the process next week, how long does it usually take to bring the case together and then to get to a resolution?
Yeah, well, here there would be the first step to book the appointment. Some consulates you can book the appointment immediately. Some consulates the waiting list is 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Then the day of the appointment to submit the file. And normally once the submission is done, it takes around 2 months to get the approval. Once the approval is done, the third step would be on the 90 days since the approval, you need to travel to Spain.
Okay.
And the last step, that once you enter Spain, you have 30 days to start the process to get the residency card.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, it could take between 3 to 5 months.
Okay, great. And that's the best case scenario. So what about if your case doesn't get approved? Do you guys at your firm, do you then work on with the person, the individual, the family, on putting, the case back together? Because I don't know what's your approval rates usually when you apply for the non-lucrative visa, but I guess there's some cases where people get rejected. So is there a way of appealing?
Yeah, in a Spanish system, there is two appeals. There is the first appeal against the consulate or the administration. The second appeal, we go to the judge and the judge decides.
Okay.
It analyzes the case and decides. We normally succeed on the cases. The only cases that there is big chances of rejection would be in case of criminal records, and in case very low financials, or in case there is suspicious that this person is going to work.
Okay.
But normally the cases that we take and that we work in, we are pretty sure that they are going to succeed. In case that they don't succeed, normally we submit an appeal if we have reasons to submit it. And then if we see that they don't answer the appeal, we also advise the families sometimes to reapply.
Okay.
Because sometimes the appeal goes slower than to reapply, depending on the consulate.
Okay. So then now, let's say, now we've applied, we successfully applied, great. So the person is moving to Spain, they've got the non-lucrative visa. And from there, how easy is it to get like a citizenship, or for anyone who's looking to stay in Spain actually for the long run? Does it make it easier to have the non-lucrative visa for your journey to citizenship or residency?
Yeah, this is a good point. The non-lucrative residence permit, it's a temporary permit. It's the terminology is temporary permit. After 5 years of this temporary permit, remember that the non-lucrative, the first one is for 1 year, renewal is for 2, then 2, and then 5. So after these 5 years, you could switch the temporary permit to a permanent permit for 5 years. Okay. What does this mean? That once you switch from the non-lucrative to the permanent permit, residencia permanente, we call it in Spanish, then you don't need to show savings anymore. Okay. So you just keep the permit because you are a permanent resident.
Okay.
And then afterwards, the citizenship, it would depend on the reason why you got this permit. If you were born in Spain, if you are from a Latin American countries, this would be 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. If you are from a non-Latin American, Ibero-American country, then it would be 10 years.
Okay.
So there would be, normally it's 10 years. If you are from an Ibero-American country, 2 years. And if you are married with a Spanish person, for example, would be 1 year. If you were born in Spain, you would be 1 year.
Okay.
But yeah, this would be in general the road to citizenship.
And what about if someone is not looking for that road citizenship but wants to renew the non-lucrative visa? So how does it work?
Yeah, if you have the savings, you can renew it every time. Okay. After 5 years, if you mostly reside in Spain, you can switch to the permanent permit.
Okay. And can you renew this? You need to be in Spain in order to renew. Can you renew from your?
For the renewal, you need to keep the requirements, so the savings, and you need to be in the country at least 6 months per year.
Okay. Okay, great. And now I wanted to now that we've understood the journey, if you had to summarize, what are some of the benefits of the non-lucrative visa? If you had to give me a couple of, for the people listening to us today, what would you say are the main benefits to apply to this visa?
Well, the main benefits would be, the first one is that you get a residence permit of Spain, that if you have enough savings, it's an easy process. But the benefit at the end of the day is that you get a residence permit, so you will have the right to live permanent, like more than 90 days a year in the country.
Okay, brilliant. So now that we've gone through our questions, I wanted to, first of all, thank you, because you've made it quite easy, at least. You made it very easy to understand the process. I'm sure people have other questions. But I also wanted to, before I take the Q&A, take the opportunity to tell you a big thank you and remind people that the Balcells Group has offered a 10% discount for anyone who happens to want to book a consultation by the end of the week. So that's very generous of you. But now we're gonna jump onto the question, the Q&A, and then we'll take it from there. So I'll take a look. Okay, so let's start with the first one. So someone is asking, I want to ask you regarding the NIE. If you can help for 2 people coming from Canada, how long it would take and how much for your services? I guess this we can also mention via email. And we plan to move to Denia or to Calpe in November, December. Thank you. This is a bit separate. It's about NIE. I guess it's a different
No, actually, the non-lucrative residency permit, it implies to get an NIE number. So once you apply at the consulate, they will assign you an NIE number. So at the end of the day, if you want the NIE because you want to reside through the non-lucrative visa, we can help you during all the process. And about the fees, late after the webinar, we'll send an email with all the information.
Exactly. Well, we have a question. I guess this one we've answered, but let's repeat in case. So, on the non-lucrative visa, can one work remotely from a non-Spanish company?
By law, no, because for remote workers, there is what we call the digital nomad visa. But in practice, we saw people that they do it because at the end of the day, it's difficult to prove what you are doing at home. But if you are planning to work remotely from Spain, we should go through the digital nomad visa. This would be the correct road.
Okay. Well, actually, speaking of the digital nomad visa, we have a separate question on that. So someone is interested in applying for the digital nomad visa and have worked for a remote company since October 2023, but took a leave until this month. The owner of my company wrote a letter for me outlining my yearly salary. Would this letter meet the requirement, or do I have to wait 3 months to have 3 months of pay?
Payslip.
Yeah.
Actually, in order to apply for the digital nomad visa, you need to prove that at least you have been working for 3 months for the company. So in your case, we will need to wait 3 months. If you need more information, perhaps you can contact us and we will do a consultation where we will explain you the whole process because it's not, it's not easy. The digital nomad visa, there is a lot of requirements.
And here, I'm sure at some point, Christian would love to do another session on the digital nomad visa where we can go into more details.
Of course.
Then we have more question on cost, but like I said, we've mentioned after the session, we'll be sending an email with the cost and the discount that you can apply when it comes to the services of the team. And then I think we are we have another question. What is the alternative visa option for those who do not have this amount of saving and would like to work in Spain?
Well, in order to work in Spain, there would be mainly 3 options. Option number 1, if you come for as a student and you are studying higher education, you can get a 30 hours work permit besides the studies, but you need to come for studies.
Okay.
Second option would be to apply for what we call the highly skilled professional residence permit, but for this you need to have a work offer over 40,000 euros on a technical position.
Okay.
And the third option would be to try a regular work permit, but here we will have a big barrier because the immigration office, they're going to see the national situation of unemployment. So if the position could be covered by a Spanish or people who is resident in Spain, they would reject the application.
Okay, great. And well, we have a few more questions coming in. Clearly, a lot of interaction. That's great. So keep them coming if you have more. So we have someone asking, can you get your document for the digital nomad visa translated while you are in Spain, or do you need to do this in your home country?
No, of course, you can do it while you are in Spain. Actually, our advice is to work with local translators recognized by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Spain, which are normally located in Spain.
Brilliant. And actually, this is on the Spanish government. There's a list. If you look and you click, and they give you a list of all the registered ones you can use. And somebody is asking, I'm a citizen of Canada and USA. Do you also offer services for taxes dealing with Spain, Canada, and USA?
Yeah, actually, our firm, we have an immigration department and we have the tax department as well, a team of 5 persons, very oriented to international people. So we help doing the personal income tax declaration. We analyze also the agreements between Spain and the country of origin, such as Canada, US, because there is agreement to avoid double taxation. So we do this analysis and we help to file the taxes as well.
Okay, that's great. So I might sign up for that as well. We want taxes is definitely a big one. You don't want to pay twice. And as a writer trying to sell their work, does that count as digital work if the writing does not sell?
Sorry?
I think he's saying that he's currently is writing, so they're trying to sell their work at the moment. So as a writer trying to sell their work, does that count as digital work if the writing does not sell?
No, in general, no. Yeah. Because the digital nomad visa is for those who works for companies, mainly.
Okay. Yeah, in that case, I think that person, maybe you're doing it as a hobby or you're writing, but clearly if there's no outcome in terms of payslip, or if you're not working for anyone, that wouldn't work. So I guess in this case, I think we're really good. I think we've gone through all those questions. We have more questions coming in. Let's take one more before we close. So where can I find out more information about alternative visa mentioned?
Yes, well, in our website, we have full of information about all the permits in our blog. And also we have a YouTube channel where we post a lot of videos of all the possibilities to emigrate to Spain. So you can take a look in both. And if you need any other information, you can always contact us.
Exactly. And again, in the email that you guys will be receiving afterward, you have the link to their website, to my website, and you'll be able to follow through. So I guess, let's take the last final question, and then we'll be closing for today. And then if you have any more questions, people, you can send them our way, and then we'll be answering and following up. We have another question about, you mentioned that the golden visa is still possible. Is it based on a purchase of 500k euro?
Exactly. Till now is valid. I mean, you can get the golden visa through this investment.
Brilliant. So, but again, time is counted. So
exactly,
definitely a one to, if someone is interested, a one to start working on as soon as possible. And then, as I said, we're going to close. Final comment. Thank you so much. That was very helpful. I'm glad the audience is finding it helpful. So, Christian, thanks a million. This was fantastic. Anyone else, if you have any more questions, you can follow up via email. And we're going to close for the day. And thank you so much.
Muy bien, gracias. Thank you.
Gracias. Adiós.
Thank you. Adiós.